The learning objective for this video is that by the end of it, you can describe the difference between subjective and objective observations. For my students, feel free to pause the video at any time you need to take notes. Let's start with subjective observations. Subjective observations include our own opinion. Now, this type of observation is often influenced by our personal life experience. And because we all have such different life experiences, the result could be a wide range of contradicting observations, a lot of different observations. So because of this, these types of observations are not included when recording scientific data. Examples could be that you're observing the sky and you note that the sky looks beautiful, or you're observing birds and you note that birds look crazy. These are just our opinions. Let's look at an example if we were doing research on possums. Let's say one person writes down their subjective observations on this possum, and they start to record that possums are ugly, scary, and creepy. Another person writes down their subjective observations on possums, and they record that possums are cute and adorable. Now we have this list of very different observations that at the same time possums are ugly yet cute, and scary and creepy and adorable all at the same time. So instead, we as scientists record objective observations. So these are the facts. These are the observations made without adding our personal opinions, without our bias or judgment. Let's look again at the example of possums. If we were just to include the objective observations, we could state that possums have pink noses, hairless tails, black eyes. Looking again at the two types of observations, subjective observations can be misleading and inaccurate because they're very different from person to person. And objective observations actually require some time to develop the skill of observing something and not adding judgment, because throughout the day we're constantly adding judgment on the things we observe. To show you how powerful our subjective observations can influence our emotion, we'll look at this next picture. Now some of you will look at this and immediately your judgments come out. You start to make subjective observations. You have a bias against this image, and you record that black widows are scary, creepy, disgusting, ugly. Some of my students see this image and shout out, cool, crazy. Now again, these are all our opinions. As scientists, we want to record just our objective observations. So this might include that the eggs are light brown, they're oval shaped, the spider is jet black, there's an red hourglass shape on its belly, they're poisonous. All of these objective observations are considered qualitative. They are referring to the qualities that we are observing. We could also observe that there are 8 legs on the spider, or the spider has 2 eggs. These are both quantitative observations because these involve quantities, amounts, numbers. Go ahead and pause the video and decide for yourself of these 4 observations, which ones are subjective observations, which ones are objective observations. The animal is scary. That's an opinion, that's subjective. The flower has 8 petals. That's objective. The animal has sharp teeth. Again, objective. The flower is pretty. That's an opinion, subjective. Now that you've seen the video, I want you to assess yourself. Do you feel like you're a novice, or meaning that you're still a beginner, you're still quite confused between the difference between objective and subjective observations? Or do you feel like you're an apprentice? You feel like you kind of get it, but you still need more time and you're struggling about describing the difference between the two? Or do you feel like you're an expert? You can go out and make research and you can know the difference between when you're having or writing down subjective observations and objective observations. If you feel like you're an expert, you should be able to teach this to somebody else and describe the difference to them.